While testifying in her dad's fraud case, Ivanka Trump said she wasn't privy to certain financial details while working for the Trump Organization. But was she being entirely forthcoming? Here's why some are now questioning Ivanka's believability on the stand. On November 8, 2023, Ivanka Trump appeared in court to testify in a fraud case involving her father and two of her brothers. While statute of limitations restrictions prevented Ivanka from also being a defendant in the case, she was hoping to avoid testifying during the trial. However, Ivanka was unable to be excused. Presiding Judge Arthur F. Gorin already ruled on September 26 that the defendants are guilty of fraud. Now the trial is seeking to determine the penalty for these actions, which could include $250 million in damages. An additional consequence could bar Trump and his sons from overseeing any business in the state forever. For 5 hours, Ivanka answered questions about her role in procuring loans for her father's company. The former president's oldest daughter smiled while she tried to focus on praising the work of the Trump Organization. In addition, Ivanka asserted that she did not have access to certain documents or monetary information. While she believed her father would possess these financial statements, she said on the witness stand, "Those weren't things that I was privy to." However, she was also presented with court-obtained documents that showed her communicating with bank lenders.
Every day brings new opportunities in my work at the Trump Organization.
While she tried to disassociate herself from her family's business activities, Ivanka couldn't hide her tension even when she laughed or smiled during those difficult moments of questioning. However, conflict did occur when the court produced correspondence from Ivanka that dated back to 2011. In a message to Deutsche Bank, Ivanka wrote that she would be including a financial statement. Further documentation between Ivanka and Deutsche Bank detailed a compromise for lowering the stipulation of her father's net worth to $2.5 billion. This figure was vastly different from another 2011 statement that declared Donald Trump's net worth to be $4.2 billion. Specifics about Trump's assets are part of the central argument in the case. The fraud charges brought by Letitia James, New York's Attorney General, claim that asset values were manipulated in the pursuit of more advantageous loans. James also asserts that fraud occurred because lenders didn't receive the vast sums of money they would have been entitled to if the loan paperwork had been filed with accurate info. While she was on the witness stand, Ivanka Trump's answers varied between succinct and long-winded. For instance, she frequently answered, "I don't recall," when questioned about financial details. In contrast, state lawyer Lois Solomon seemed angry when Ivanka gave elaborate depictions of the amenities available at Trump hotels, yet couldn't remember whether financial statements came up at a particular meeting. In addition, Judge Gorin also felt Ivanka could have been more concise in some of her responses. For example, when asked about a Deutsche Bank loan for Trump's Doral golf course, Ivanka replied, "I thought generally the deal terms were positive and we proceeded forward." And Gorin then told her she could have simply answered yes. Ivanka also went into detail about what was happening to her personally during 2011 business transactions involving the Doral Resort. For instance, she mentioned how a particular phone call took place while she was giving birth to her daughter, Arabella. When assessing the believability of Ivanka's testimony, New York Attorney General Letitia James asserted that it stood in contrast to the documents presented during the case.
She was very much involved.
James claimed that despite Ivanka's efforts to distance herself from her dad and his company, she still played a significant role in her family's business.